To live in the hearts we leave behind is not to die. Thomas Campbell. In this video, we commemorate the deaths of celebrities who died in January 2026. Please leave a like if you appreciate the content, even though it might feel a bit strange to do so for an obituary.
Béla Tarr, the Hungarian visionary who transformed cinema into an art of profound patience and existential inquiry, left behind a body of work that redefined what films could achieve. Born in 1955 to parents steeped in theater and performance, Tarr received his first 8mm camera at 14 and never looked back, turning away from an early philosophical aspiration to devote himself entirely to the image. His journey began in the suffocating years of communist Hungary, where authorities questioned him after his amateur short won recognition and state universities closed their doors to him. These early rejections crystallized his path. If the system would not educate him conventionally, he would educate himself and the world through cinema. Tarr's films arrived as meditations on the margins of existence. Family Nest in 1979 announced a voice attuned to the forgotten, to ordinary people struggling in crumbling apartments. Over decades, his aesthetic deepened into something hypnotic, composed of extended takes stretching 6 to 11 minutes, camera movements that circled characters like predatory grace, and a visual palette of relentless black and white. Satan Tango, at 7.5 hours, became a masterpiece that influenced filmmakers globally, including American director Gus Van Sant, who would credit Tarr as essential to his own artistic evolution. American critic Susan Sontag championed him as a savior of modern cinema. His influence reached American cinema houses and universities, where his work reminded viewers that cinema could breathe, could wait, could ask profound questions without rushing to answers. After announcing his final film with the Turin Horse in 2011, Tarr refused to disappear. He moved to Sarajevo in 2012 and established Film Factory, an unconventional school where he taught alongside renowned international artists. In exhibitions and installations at venues across Europe, he continued exploring form. Throughout his life, Agnes Chronicki stood beside him, his partner in vision since 1978. A lifelong anarchist and atheist, Tarr spoke against tyranny and nationalism with uncompromising clarity. He died on January 6, 2026, leaving behind 9 feature films that rewired how we understand cinema's possibilities. His legacy lives in every filmmaker who learned that patience itself can be revolutionary.
Thomas Kent Carter, born in New York City on December 18, 1956, brought laughter and depth to American television and film for over 4 decades. Growing up in the San Gabriel Valley of Southern California, he developed a natural gift for performance that would define his career, beginning with stand-up comedy as a teenager and evolving into a versatile character actor whose presence graced some of America's most beloved shows. Carter's filmography showcased his remarkable range. He moved audiences as the roller-skating chef Niles in John Carpenter's The Thing, a role that introduced him to wider recognition through a perfect blend of vulnerability and tension. His comedic timing shone in Seems Like Old Times and Ski Patrol, where he played the street-smart Chester and karaoke-singing Iceman, respectively. Yet it was perhaps his performance as Gary McCullough in HBO's The Corner that revealed his greatest strength. The Boston Globe praised him how he perfectly captures the gentleness and passivity that can be addiction's easiest conquest, transforming a difficult subject matter into profound human storytelling. On television, Carter became a fixture in American households. As Mike Fulton on NBC's Punky Brewster, he brought warmth and wisdom to generations of viewers. His starring role on Just Our Luck marked an early triumph, while appearances on The Steve Harvey Show, The Sinbad Show, and Good Morning Miss Bliss demonstrated his consistent ability to enhance ensemble casts. His final role came in 2023 on The Company You Keep, capping a lifetime of meaningful work. Carter died at his home in Duarte, California on January 9, 2026, at age 69. His legacy extends beyond filmography. He represented a particular strand of American entertainment history, an actor who thrived in comedy television, who understood how to ground even the most fantastical stories in genuine human emotion, and whose work across 7 decades reflected the evolving landscape of American media. From The Waltons to How to Get Away with Murder, Carter's presence reminded audiences that character acting, however understated, carries profound value in storytelling.
Bob Weir, the visionary guitarist whose inventive playing shaped the American musical landscape for over 6 decades, passed away on January 10, 2026, at age 78. Born Robert Hall Weir in San Francisco in 1947, he rose from a young musician exploring the back alleys of Palo Alto to become a pillar of the Grateful Dead, one of the most influential bands in American history. On New Year's Eve, 1963, the 16-year-old Weir encountered Jerry Garcia at a music store and spent the night playing together, a chance meeting that sparked a musical partnership that would reshape popular culture forever. Weir emerged as a co-lead vocalist and songwriter during his 3 decades with the Grateful Dead, playing rhythm guitar with a completely original approach. His distinctive style drew inspiration from McCoy Tyner's comping behind John Coltrane, finding ideal voicings and rhythmic patterns that perfectly underpinned Garcia's improvisational flights. Phil Lesh recalled that after Weir's determination to improve his craft, he became astonished at the depth of his bandmates' musical evolution. His partnership with lyricist John Perry Barlow produced enduring works including Cassidy, Estimated Prophet, and Throwing Stones, while his own compositions like The Other One, Sugar Magnolia, and Playing in the Band became staples of the Dead's live repertoire. After the Grateful Dead disbanded in 1995, Weir proved his creative restlessness through countless projects. He founded Rat Dog, performed with Further alongside Phil Lesh, and eventually joined Dead and Company with John Mayer in 2015, completing more than 350 shows over the following decade. His symphonic collaborations, beginning in 2022 with the National Symphony Orchestra, expanded nationwide, culminating in his long-awaited Royal Albert Hall debut on June 21, 2025, with the Royal Philharmonic Concert Orchestra. In 1994, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame honored Weir's contributions, and in 2024, he and the Grateful Dead received the Kennedy Center honors. Beyond music, Weir embodied American ideals of community service through his work with numerous charitable organizations. A memorial celebration in San Francisco's Civic Center Plaza on January 17, 2026, drew thousands who came to honor a musician who spent his life proving that American music could be endlessly exploratory, deeply communal, and rooted in the eternal present moment. John Forté, the Grammy-nominated producer and rapper who rose from Brooklyn's poverty to help define hip-hop's golden age before facing incarceration and achieving redemption, died on January 12th at his home in Chilmark, Massachusetts. He was 50. As a child in Brownsville, Brooklyn, Forté discovered music as a pathway to transformation. A violin prodigy who earned a scholarship to Phillips Exeter Academy, he brought classical training into the hip-hop world, blending orchestral sensibilities with street vernacular in ways few artists have achieved. This unlikely fusion became his signature, allowing him to move between artistic worlds with rare fluidity. At 21, Forté co-wrote and produced tracks on the Fugees' landmark 1996 album, The Score, earning a Grammy nomination for work that helped define a generation's sound. The album's commercial and critical success led him to tour globally and collaborate with music's most visionary minds. His solo debut, Poli-Sci, showcased his intellectual approach to production, merging academic rigor with lived experience in ways that critics found absorbing and authentic. Yet Forté's trajectory shifted dramatically in 2000 when he was arrested at Newark Airport and convicted of drug offenses, receiving a mandatory 14-year sentence. The 7 years he served in federal prison stripped away illusions, yet deepened his artistry. His second album, I, John, recorded while awaiting trial and featuring duets with Carly Simon, revealed an artist grappling with consequences and searching for redemption through unflinching reflection. President George W. Bush's commutation in 2008 offered a second chance that Forté seized with characteristic discipline. He returned to New York City to rebuild his life with dignity and generosity. Teaching at City College of New York, scoring documentaries, and creating with peers like Talib Kweli, he established a recording studio in Chilmark, where musicians from across the world gathered to collaborate. His work on HBO's Eyes on the Prize revival and the documentary Paint Me a Road Out of Here brought historical narratives to new audiences. He married Laura Fuller, a photographer, in 2017 and is survived by his family. Music was never merely a career for Forté. It was the thread connecting a child choosing the violin on an ordinary school day to a man creating beauty in a basement studio decades later. His final album, Vessels, Angels, and Ancestors, captured the wisdom earned through suffering and survival. Scott Raymond Adams left an indelible mark on American culture through his keen eye for corporate absurdity and his ability to capture the frustrations of working life with humor and precision. Born in Windham, New York, he built a career that would resonate across generations, transforming the mundane experiences of office workers into a global phenomenon that millions recognized as their own reality. His creation of DILBERT in 1989, while still employed at Pacific Bell in California, required remarkable discipline. Rising at 4 a.m. to sketch comics before his day job, he eventually achieved what few artists manage, turning passion into sustained success. By the mid-1990s, DILBERT had reached national prominence, eventually appearing in 2,000 newspapers across 57 countries and 19 languages, spawning books, television adaptations, and merchandise that cemented his influence in popular discourse. Beyond cartooning, Adams explored diverse intellectual territories. His business books, like The DILBERT Principle, established him as a commentator on organizational dysfunction. His spiritual novella, God's Debris, presented unconventional theological ideas, while his later work reflected his engagement with politics and social commentary. He won the National Cartoonist Society's Reuben Award in 1997 and later earned recognition among the world's most influential management thinkers. His podcast, Real Coffee with Scott Adams, became a platform where he discussed persuasion, politics, and philosophy with notable guests, expanding his reach into the digital age. Adams's life contained contradictions that reflected the complexity of modern America. His observations about workplace culture achieved near universal recognition, yet his later political commentary generated significant controversy. He faced physical challenges, including focal dystonia and spasmodic dysphonia, conditions he addressed with resilience and creative adaptation. In his final chapter, Adams confronted mortality with characteristic pragmatism, announcing his stage 4 prostate cancer diagnosis in May 2025 and continuing his creative work despite declining health. He relinquished drawing DILBERT in November 2025, but committed to writing the strip as long as possible. He died on January 13, 2026, at his Pleasanton home, leaving behind decades of work that captured the absurdities of American corporate life with unmatched clarity and wit. His legacy extends far beyond comics into the consciousness of millions who recognize themselves in his characters.
Valentino Clemente Ludovico Garavani, the Italian master of haute couture who dressed the world's royalty and cinema's greatest luminaries, passed away peacefully in Rome on January 19, 2026, at age 93. His death concluded an era of uncompromising elegance and marked the final chapter of a designer whose vision transcended fashion into pure artistry. Born in Voghera, Lombardy in 1932, Valentino carried a name bestowed by his mother as homage to the silent film star Rudolph Valentino. From childhood, he pursued design with singular devotion, apprenticing under his aunt before departing for Paris at 17 to study at the Beaux-Arts and the École de la Chambre syndicale. He trained under the titans of mid-century couture, Balenciaga, Jean Dessay, and Guy Laroche, absorbing their mastery before charting his own course. In 1959, Valentino returned to Rome with his father's support and opened his atelier on Via Condotti. The following year, he encountered Giancarlo Giametti, the architecture student who would remain his life partner and business collaborator for 65 years. Together, they crystallized a vision of refined femininity through clean lines, architectural volumes, and spectacular embroidery. His signature red, a precise blend of carmine, scarlet, and hints of orange, became instantly recognizable as Rosso Valentino. Valentino's 1962 debut at the Pitti Palace in Florence announced a designer of consequence. He dressed Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis during her mourning year, Audrey Hepburn, Elizabeth Taylor, and Princess Diana with equal grace. His influence extended across the Atlantic. He designed uniforms for Italian athletes at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics and created a luxury edition of the Lincoln Continental automobile from 1983 to 1985, embedding Italian sophistication into American automotive culture. He presented collections in New York and established boutiques there, becoming a fixture of Manhattan society. By 1986, Valentino had achieved distinction as the largest Italian fashion exporter, with international sales exceeding $385 million. He retired as creative director in 2007 and presented his final haute couture collection in 2008, closing a 48-year era of personal creative direction. His legacy endures as the embodiment of timeless elegance and the last great couturier of the classical age.
Catherine Ain O'Hara, the Canadian-American actress and comedian whose career spanned over 5 decades, died on January 30, 2026 in Los Angeles. She was 71. The cause was a pulmonary embolism. Rectal cancer was the underlying condition. Born in Toronto on March 4, 1954, to an Irish Catholic family, Ms. O'Hara discovered her gift for performance early and built a legacy of over 50 years in entertainment that transcended both comedy and drama. She began her journey with Second City, Toronto in 1974, where she replaced Gilda Radner when that comedy pioneer departed for Saturday Night Live. By 1976, she became a regular on Second City Television, an institution that would earn her an Emmy Award and establish her reputation as a master of absurdist, character-driven comedy. Her film career flourished throughout the 1980s and 1990s. Audiences knew her best as Kate McAllister in the beloved Home Alone films, 1990-1992, the frazzled mother who accidentally leaves her son behind. She worked with Martin Scorsese, appeared in Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, 1988, and collaborated repeatedly with director Christopher Guest in his mockumentary films, earning awards for her performances in Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, and A Mighty Wind. These diverse roles showcased her versatility, moving effortlessly from comedic timing to dramatic depth. In 2015, Ms. O'Hara experienced a career renaissance through her role as Moira Rose, the eccentric former soap opera actress in the CBC sitcom Schitt's Creek. Her performance earned her a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress, a Golden Globe Award, and 5 other major television honors in 2020, sweeping the award season alongside her longtime collaborator, Eugene Levy. Throughout her career, her films grossed more than $4.3 billion worldwide. She lent her voice to beloved animated films, from The Nightmare Before Christmas to The Wild Robot. In 2017, she was appointed an Officer of the Order of Canada, and in 2021, she became the honorary mayor of Brentwood, Los Angeles, where she ultimately lived with her husband, production designer Bo Welch, whom she married in 1992. They had 2 sons. Grady DeMond Wilson, the actor who brought Lamont Sanford to life across 5 seasons of groundbreaking American television, died on January 30th at his home in Palm Springs, California. He was 79. His son, Christopher, said he had been suffering from prostate cancer. Born in Valdosta, Georgia on August 13, 1946, Wilson grew up in Harlem, New York, where he discovered performance early, making his Broadway debut at age 4, and later dancing at Harlem's legendary Apollo Theater at age 12. His childhood was shaped by both spiritual devotion and artistic ambition. He served as a Catholic altar boy and spent summers with his grandmother, a Pentecostal minister, even briefly considering a vocation as a priest. When his appendix ruptured at age 12, nearly claiming his life, the experience deepened his conviction to serve God through some form of ministry. After serving in the United States Army from 1966 to 1968 as part of the 4th Infantry Division in Vietnam, where he was wounded, Wilson returned home and pursued his entertainment career through Broadway and off-Broadway productions before moving to Hollywood. His turning point came in 1972 when he was cast opposite Redd Foxx in NBC's Sanford & Son, a show that became a cultural landmark in American television. When Fox walked off the set in 1974 over contract disputes, Wilson carried the series as its central figure. He appeared in 135 episodes across the show's run, opening doors for Black representation on television that transformed the medium's landscape. Throughout the 1980s, Wilson appeared in Baby, I'm Back and The New Odd Couple, alongside pursuing diverse film roles. Yet his most significant pivot came in 1983, when he answered what he described as a spiritual calling. He was ordained as a minister in the Church of God in Christ in 1984 and became a dedicated Christian evangelist. He authored several books examining New Age movements and the spiritual questions of American life, including his 2009 memoir, Second Banana, which documented the behind-the-scenes history of television's pioneering years. Wilson married model Cicely Johnston in 1974 and had 6 children. He lived a life of remarkable transformation, moving from the comedic stages of Hollywood to the pulpits and traveling ministries of American Christianity. His legacy encompasses both entertainment history and spiritual commitment.
It is with sadness that we say goodbye to the personalities we have honored in this obituary video. May they rest in peace. We wish their families, friends, and fans all the strength in the world during this difficult time. Thank you for staying with us until the end. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and check out more content here. Take care. See you next time.